Gather round, because we are gonna do a 2024 year in review. Because this has been the longest year of my life. And I wanna do a little recap on things that we can take and leave in the new year. Now, many of you might be going into 2025 being like, 2025 is my year. New year, new me. Not me though, I'm sick of it. Last time all of us came together and said a year was gonna be our year, we haven't fully been able to recover from that yet. And also, given the way 2024 ended, I don't know if this is gonna be our year, y'all. I'm sorry. I don't even know if this is gonna be our decade. 2025 is looking like it might gear up to be one of the worst years we've ever had in recorded history. But listen, on the bright side, this will be the start of a presidency that hopefully will never be able to ever happen again. Final lap, y'all. Fingers crossed that this isn't the year the US turns into a dictatorship. There's always Canada. That is also slowly turning to a dictatorship, so I don't know. There's always the bottom of the ocean and the lost city of Atlantis. At least we'll have TikTok to doom scroll away our grievances. Never mind. But even though 2025 might not look like the most promising year, hopefully some of the good of last year can come into this year, so it won't be all bad, right? See, I'm a big believer in leaving things in the last year. You know what I mean? I grew up in one of them cultures where you clean your whole house on New Year's Eve, you know? Do your laundry. You just can't take anything into the new year, otherwise that's bad juju. And I think the internet could do with some of that energy. And I want to talk about some of the trends that I want to see die a
slow, painful, and fiery death.
And some of the trends that I want to see make it into 2025 with us. First, leave it. Podcast microphones. Frankly, I've seen us take things into the next year that we shouldn't have even taken into the next week. And podcast mics are one that we should have killed a long time ago. These little puppies right here, I don't want to see them anymore. This is a crazy shot. I cannot think of anything that has been more detrimental to the fabric of our society than microphones. Y'all pass that TikTok bill swift as Where's the microphone bill? Get Big Mike out of here. And that's on Sandra Bullock. And it's always been more a joke of like men with podcast mics, but I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. But some of the girly pops on here that got a hold of the podcast mic, they're just as bad. They're not saying anything either. I can't tell you how desperately I never want to hear anything ever again about coming into your feminine energy. Feminine energy? I'm in my rabid animal energy. As much as I would love to say I support all women, I'm not about to have y'all coming on here talking about my body, his choice. Not in 2025, you're not. I don't want any more podcasts from anybody. No more podcasts, except mine. Subscribe to Simi Talks on all platforms. No, I'm kidding. And one of my favorite trends that I want to take into 2025 with us, de-influencing. I love the de-influencing trend. It's one of my favorite things about TikTok literally ever. I mean, is it a trend in response to a trend that TikTok kind of caused in the first place? Yes, but you know what? Glass half full, y'all, small wins. But I love seeing people come online and just talk about real shit. Show their real, simple, normal lives. Show all the products that they bought that they actually don't use and tell us that, hey, this thing does nothing. Showing off their lives that just aren't super aesthetic. I love it. I truly do. And it's truly one of my favorites because I don't want to hear anybody else coming on here about comparison is the thief of joy. Bitch, you. I am the joy thief, the joy nabber. I hate to see myself experiencing joy. And while I might not be the best gamer girl out there, I eat at the game of comparison. The thing about comparison is that 95% of the time, you're not doing it on purpose. And you're not necessarily doing it to go out of your way to feel envious of people. It's just a natural human thing pointing to our desires. It's hard sometimes to scroll online and see people have a bunch of things that you wish that you could afford to have, or living experiences that you want to experience, and not feel any type of way about that. Not in a malignant way that you want to take what they have from them, just that you also want to experience it yourself. That's just experiencing what it is to desire something. And nobody is ever going to be completely free of comparison at any point in their life. So sometimes the de-influencing just makes you feel a little better and reminds you that, hey, there's a lot of people out there who are at your level. It softens my ice cold heart a little bit, you know? And I, in an attempt to melt my ice cold heart, can de-influence you from something that I compare myself to all the time. I don't really consider myself an influencer. I'm really just someone who makes YouTube videos online online, and it's a very creatively fulfilling hobby, and I like doing it, and that's why I keep showing up here. I like to yap, and believe it or not, I actually kind of enjoy to edit. But that doesn't stop me from comparing myself to other people on here who make better content than me, who have higher numbers than me, who overall, in my opinion, do a lot better than I do at this. People who are better at building community than I am over shorter periods of time than I've been doing it. I do spend a lot of time feeling like I'm not quite good enough at this as I probably should be, but then I remember channels like the Ace Family existed, and then I feel a lot better. Some of the channels that y'all had popping off in 2020 just remind me the bar actually isn't as high as I think it is. So my 2 cents into this trend to de-influence you, if you happen to make content yourself, or not even, is that there's a lot of people out here who come on here, make content, make YouTube videos for fun and for a hobby, who don't make a ton of money doing it, don't do it as a job, have small channels, live in small, kind of falling apart apartments, have normal jobs, and film into a webcam and talk into a saw.
Have the cutest little bunnies of all time. Say hi, Lola.
So true, bestie. And overall are very much standard, normal, run-of-the-mill people. And I've been making these kind of YouTube videos now for maybe 2-ish years, and I'm still a pretty small channel. But remember that most of all, nothing matters. Because I don't know if you heard, but the planet's on fire, and we have about 20 minutes to put it out before this place is completely unlivable. The next thing we need to leave in 2024, Jake Paul.
Please.
I feel like we've been asking to leave him in previous years now for like a decade. But what I mean specifically is Jake Paul fighting the elderly, if you don't mind. Jake. So I Googled what's the retirement age for most athletes, and it seems like Jake Paul could be getting kind of close. You know, it seems to be around late 20s, early 30s. So God, I am praying that this was it, because what the hell? I didn't watch Jake fight Mike because I had work in the morning. But in a really shocking and unexpected turn of events, a 27-year-old man beat a 6-year-old man in a sport? That's so crazy. Who would have ever seen that coming? I mean, it's super obvious that Jake fights for spectacle rather than for sport. Obviously, because in what sport do they do this at? I'll open it up to y'all. Name me the sport where it's normal for athletes to play against someone 30 years younger than them. Take your time. None. That's the answer. None. That might be meaningful. I don't know. I didn't watch it. The extent of my research on this fight was reading some tweets about it after the fact. Because also, let's not forget that these are both terrible people. Just want to always keep that top of consciousness. These aren't good guys. Just Google Mike's past and look into the Jake Paul allegations if you really want to just ruin your appetite. The only reason I was rooting for Mike is honestly just because black people are down too right now. And it's getting embarrassing. If I could, which I can, throw in a little suggestion for who Jake should fight next, it should be Logan. It should be that brother of yours. And you know that. That's a fight that I might watch. Because I just feel like if you've been online for enough time to remember when they were having their really weird public beef, when they were making the diss tracks, the Alyssa Violet thing, then I feel like you know that there's always been a really heavy air of like resentment between them two. I don't watch either of them, but something about every interaction that I've seen with them online has this energy that they hate each other. And should they probably take it to therapy? Yeah, but they're men, so that's not gonna happen. So instead, I think they need to take that shit to the ring, and may the best brother win. But if that does happen, and any of y'all see this, I'm manifesting it right now, please let me be one of those girls in the background who stands there like this. I just feel like I'd be really good at that job, please. Leave it, oh my God, the weight obsession thing that's going on right now. Unfortunately, I do not think we're leaving that at all. I think it's actually just getting started. Y'all are so exhausting. I don't want to see another TikTok about don't get fat. The worst thing you can do is get fat. Leave me alone. Cut it out. I'm tired of you skinny pride activists, all right? We get it. You're thin and you're proud. Happy for you. But like, we've gone so full circle. We are literally just back to like bullying. I feel like this has been a sentiment online for a long time, but I would love to see us move more towards a body neutral stance. It seems like that's really the only hardcore, meaningful movement we can have at this point. It's starting to seem like all the other movements, as well-meaning as they might have started, are cooked. We're done. It is in fact the roaring 20s again, and we all want to look like the skinny Mariah meme. Wait, jokes, not a meme. She really does look like that. She is that skinny. But there is something kind of inherently really funny about the fact that we're kind of beyond just bullying fat people to bullying people who have the potential to get fat. So everybody. Because it kind of feels like the skinny pride movement is about getting upset with people who aren't doing enough to even maintain their thinness. Like, you're not fat yet, but the fact that you're not doing more to maintain the skinny is a problem. Like, don't you dare make the grave error of potentially gaining weight at some point in your life like everybody does. Like, damn, bruh. My bad. Leave it. The generational wars. They are getting on my nerves. And that's not to say that there isn't some dramatic differences between generations. There is. I think the ones that specifically annoy me the most are the ones where we're comparing people that are like a 5-year age difference. Relax. So like specifically millennials versus Gen Z. Shut up. It's the young versus the slightly younger. The people who had extremely different and unrelated childhoods because they grew up using different apps. I don't even know if you can even say grew up on different apps, because I feel like we grew up on different versions of the same app. It kind of feels like, oh my God, they grew up on version 1.2 of an app that you grew up on version 1.6 of that same app. Oh God, we're so different. I feel like the difference just feels really dramatic because we're all in our 20s. And I'll admit 21, 25, and like 29, 30, I'm sure feels very different, you know, developmentally. But once millennials and Gen Z get to the point where when they're 35 and you're 30, or they're 45 and you're 40, I don't know, man. Those kind of sound like the same age to me. I think then we'll finally realize that we're all the same. It doesn't make sense to hate people that are older than you for being older, because everybody ages and that will be you one day. It also doesn't make sense to hate people that are younger than you for being younger, because you were once that age and you know what it was like. So stop. That being said, why is Gen X like that? Kidding. So what was the point of this video and what is the wrap up? I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but like, do not in sequence say the words 2025, my is year. Do not say these words in order, because I genuinely think saying that sentence carries a bad omen. And that, my friends, is the video. Me and the most stuck in 2021 audience that you have ever seen are grateful that you watched. I would love to hear some of the things that you would like to take and leave in 2025. And I would also love to hear some of your predictions for this year, because I know that I sounded a little doom and gloom at the beginning, and I am still doom and gloom here at the end. But I would like to believe that there is something good coming around the corner. You know what I mean? I think this year could be very hard for a lot of reasons, but fingers crossed that at least we will have each other. And if you've made it all the way to the end of the video, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.